It's been described as a warning against U.S. military presence in Syria. President Bashar Assad says U.S. troops operating in the country must leave the Syrian territory.
We don't have any other option. So this is our land, it's our right, and it's our duty to liberate it. And the Americans should leave. Somehow they're going to leave.
The Syrian president also referred to the illegal presence of U.S. troops in Iraq, saying the occupation of the neighboring country shows the destructive nature of U.S. military adventurism in the Middle East.
They came to Iraq with no legal basis, and look what happened to them. They have to learn the lesson. Iraq is no exception, and Syria is no exception. People will not accept foreigners in this region anymore.
The U.S. has around 2,000 of its special troops on the ground in Syria. The troops are mainly tasked with aiding and training Syrian Democratic Forces, which is led by the YPG and Kurdish militia group.
So today they are illegally in Syria. Who are legally in Syria is the allies of Syria, the allies of the Syrian government, like the Russian government, the Iranian government, and other allies for the Syrian government.
But there's one problem with the military presence of U.S. troops in Syria. Damascus has not invited them to its soil. And furthermore, there's no UN mandate for the deployment of U.S. troops to Syria. In other words, the U.S. military presence in Syria is totally illegal.
The American troops on the ground are illegally in Syria. They came in. They say they've been fighting ISIS, but since they started, they have done nothing but supporting terrorism and supporting ISIS.
Back in April, reports emerged that President Donald Trump is mulling plans to push Arab nations to send troops into Syria as well.
And all of the terrorist groups on the ground that fought against the Syrian government, from day one, they were trained by the CIA and the American administration. But today, they're losing. They've been trained by the United States government, but funded by the Gulf countries.
The plan reveals U.S. ulterior motives of the Trump regime for the region. Instead of directly getting involved in the war, Washington wants the proxies to fight. Furthermore, the U.S. is interested in partitioning Syria to further weaken regional countries against Israel.
And they have not achieved anything. They have not fighted ISIS, and they only support ISIS. And the biggest proof is every time the Syrian army recently goes towards the east to fight some small areas that ISIS still have in their control, the American coalition comes and bomb the forces on the ground.
Meanwhile, the U.S. has warned Syria not to attack SDF forces. A senior Pentagon official has described the move as bad policy, calling on Damascus to reconsider the plan.
After the liberation of Aleppo and later Deir ez-Zor, and before that Homs, and now Damascus, actually the United States is losing its cards. The main card was al-Nusra, that was called moderate. But when the scandal started leaking that they are not moderate, they are Al-Qaeda, that was supposed to be fought by the United States, they look for another card. This card is the SDF now.
Is the U.S. prepared to get its soldiers militarily involved in yet another conflict in the region?